Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for coming by our podcast booth today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Are you enjoying your time at this event?
Yeah, absolutely. Lots to take in, so I'm just pacing myself. Thank you very much.
Yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
So would you like to introduce yourself? What's your name and what do you do?
Yep, so my name's Eithsham Khalid. I work for a company called Mott MacDonald. We're a civil engineering consultancy based both in the UK and global. So we have a global presence. We have a lot of engineering projects. My role specifically is working as the IT architect for digital workplace. So I basically manage the digital workplace side of things, the roadmap, strategy, all the endpoints across the estate. So yeah, that's basically what's within my remit.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Well, today what we're going to do is we're going to have a bit of a conversation based on some of the findings that we had. Lenovo did a Reborn research report. We interviewed over 600 senior IT leaders, and some of the topics that came up were around things like AI, vision, strategic planning, et cetera, et cetera. So why don't we get into it if you're ready to roll?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay, so first question. In our report, we found that generative AI is a powerful catalyst for workplace transformation. Organizations are starting to increasingly adopt AI tools and all sorts of things. So, how can they ensure that they're not just driving the efficiency, but they're also supporting human needs and long term adaptability, especially with agentic AI on the horizon?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way I see it is an AI will be inefficient without human presence. That's essentially how I see it because humans are essentially the inspiration behind AI. Like the other day, I was trying to use Copilot, for example, to summarize a document that I just sort of shared with Copilot, for example. However, it took me at least 7 or 8 different prompts
You were
to
like, try again,
yeah,
yes.
exactly. So obviously that refinement process, it came from a human.
Yeah.
So the AI wasn't able to exactly give me what I wanted. And at the same time, the output of anything that the AI does has to benefit us humans, right?
Yes.
It's not going to benefit another AI because there is no value to that. So essentially, the inspiration behind creating these AI systems is to add value to us humans. So I think this is how we need to sort of assess every use case. So essentially, what our organization is doing, Mott MacDonald, is essentially building personas, and we're trying to understand our staff's needs. And it's on a persona and a need basis that we're building these AI use cases. So I see AI as bridging that gap between two individuals, essentially, and it's adding value to us humans. So yeah, again, we're assessing it on a persona and a case-by-case basis. But at the end of the day, it needs to be human-centric, and that's what I feel about it.
Well, I think that's a fantastic example because it allows the balance of the efficiency, but also the human side as well,
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Obviously, people can understand each other. They're going to work more and work well together and be more efficient. But then they're also going to, on a human to human level, connect in a different way than they wouldn't have before. Right. Okay. One more question for you.
Okay.
In our research, we found that 44% of IT leaders rank competing IT priorities in their challenges. Like, so they have competing priorities, whether, like, should we employ this Gen AI plan or should we focus on training? Or do we need, like, all these, like, they're lost in their roadmap. They have no roadmap. They're confused. So how have you seen organizations successfully balance multiple priorities while still advancing transformation?
So I've found myself within this same sort of challenge actually
Yes.
recently because I joined the organization about 6, 7 months ago. I was coming into a new role, and again, I was basically sort of brought in to work on multiple projects, right? I guess it's about understanding those priorities better because if everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority.
Exactly.
So, hence, you have to sort of understand that there are certain things you have to assess it again. An AI can't assess everything for you. Again, you have to use your human reasoning
Right.
because there are human emotions behind every priority as well. Some might be a bigger priority for some individuals, like your executive board, for example. But if you're already committed to a project, then you need to communicate that this is the time that I'm allocating to this project, for example. If you would like me to, allocate my time elsewhere, then we need
Yes.
to assess this with our program managers. So again, communication is key, but it's having that clear vision as well. What are we trying to achieve at the end of the day? If we have a clear roadmap, of course there are things that are going to come in between. So we need to reassess our priorities and maybe have shorter milestones that we want to achieve. So for example, if a project is ongoing for 6 months and then there are other priorities that are taking place, then
Yes.
can we run them parallel? Do we need more resources, for example? Can we onboard new resources? Because if everything is a priority and you're running out of resources, then you need to assess, do we need to bring in another resource? Do we need to engage better with our vendors? Can our vendors help us a little better?
Sometimes it is okay
Yeah.
to ask for help.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's exactly how we are essentially trying to communicate and build that relationship within our IT leadership team as well.
Right.
Because sometimes people feel nervous that if you have someone within the executive board, approaching them can be nerve-wracking.
Right.
And we're trying to bridge that gap so that we have a clear line of communication with them. We can explain ourselves better. We can explain our challenges better. The other day, I just basically asked someone from our leadership team, like, obviously, we have this functional excellence reporting every month. It was a very simple question, but I said, what would you like to see being presented to you? Because I know what I think is important. Another, a program manager would know what, a service manager would know what's important, but
Right.
what would you like to see? Because ideally, I would not want to create something which is not useful to you.
Right. It's
Um,
not about me, me, me.
yeah,
It's about us. Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
So essentially, I sort of rearranged our expectations so that I'm not wasting the effort and I'm adding better value to the people that are actually going to see that output at the end of the day. So,
I
yeah.
really like that example a lot. Thank you so much for coming by to the
Yep.
booth and
It's a
talking
pleasure.
about the ways that we are really bringing new life to the modern workplace. If anyone is interested in checking out the report, make sure you look for Lenovo Work Reborn Live and the comments below and the description below for the full report.